It is 8 minutes now after the hour. You're watching Daybreak Live on WOTM and WOIL. 57 degrees in downtown Sylacauga. And we welcome this morning District 33 State Representative Ben Robbins. Ben, good morning. Thanks for coming by.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Jimmy Dale.
And it's been a busy, busy morning. It's a busy, busy time, even in the off season as a legislator.
It is. It's a busy time because you've got to get, if you're going to have any bills, you're kind of working on them now to get them ready to file for the start of the legislative session. And so you're working on that, you're meeting with people, you're discussing issues and needs that we might need to take up when the session starts in February.
So it's a big time in our community right now. You've got B.B. Comer in the playoffs tomorrow night. You've got the Veterans Day Parade, which you are sponsoring, of course, here on TV, and we appreciate you doing that.
There's a lot going on right now. There's always a lot. I mean, I think that people complain and say, we wish we had more for children to do, and I think they're right, but there's also always a lot going on. If you want to find something to be a part of in this community, there's something. There's a need here for more volunteers and more involvement, and I think that it's a great community, and there's just a lot of activities all the time going on here.
I saw yesterday where Governor Ivey made the announcement of the no burn order, and Talladega County and Coosa County, boy, we're right in the middle of the dryness of what's going on.
It's very dry right now, and I think that we need to take heed of that warning. We don't need any fires, because I don't know if you saw in the news yesterday, I think it was yesterday, the day before, Tuscaloosa County had a wildfire, a pretty large one. So we need to just make sure that we follow that fire burn warning, and we don't, I'm sure all of our volunteer fire departments would appreciate not having to go to some brush fire out in the, national forest.
And our, speaking of volunteer firemen and women, well, they do a great job, don't they?
They do, and really, talking about the volunteers, it's kind of amazing to me they can volunteer to serve and fight fires and go to ambulance calls, 2 in the morning, and then they wake up and start a shift at 6 or 7. It's like, when do you sleep? It's kind of amazing that in these parts of our community that we have people that are willing to volunteer and sacrifice that much of their time just to make sure people are okay.
So what are some of the items that are on your agenda that you're looking forward to for the session starting up next year?
I'm going to be filing a bill that I've been working on that's very important to me. I think very important to you and this community, in that, and I've done a few interviews about this, that I proposed it last session, but I'm going to propose it again this year and make some changes. It's called age verification. So if you want to view adult content online, you have to verify that you are of age to view it. And as I always say, you can't walk into the store and buy an adult magazine without showing your ID, but yet you can go online and view anything you want to without them ever knowing your age. So we're going to mandate that companies have to make a verification page before they allow you to see adult content online.
So do you think we'll have better success this year?
I think we will. We will have better success this year. I filed it late in the session last year and was able to work out all the issues that other groups might have to make sure that it was passable, but it was late in the session. I think it'll pass this year. I hope it will. And one of the other things that I'm excited about is not only will it verify that you're of age, but if you want to share or upload an image of someone, you have to get their written permission to do that. Because you always hear about that with young kids, where
shit all the time.
They share a picture they shouldn't with a friend, and then all of a sudden that person shares it all over the internet. Well, now that person that shares it is going to have committed a crime without that person's consent.
Speaking of the internet, you've been very, very upfront about the expansion of internet.
Right. I mean, like I always say, you've got to have broadband to be a part of the 21st century. I mean, I think this is one of the downsides of the internet.
Yeah.
But there are also a lot of upsides. You can, even if you live, in a place that is, I use this example that I talked to a veteran that lived over near Hollins. For him to get to the VA in Birmingham to get his counseling was almost impossible. But if he got broadband, he could do virtual sessions to deal with his PTSD from his time in Iraq. He could have that treatment and that therapy that would not be available to him without the internet and virtual healthcare. So there are pluses, and just the way business operates now, everything is digital. You have to be a part of it. But we want to make sure that when we become a part of it, that there are guardrails and protections in place to protect those that I think are the most vulnerable, which are children, that could see things and images, and they don't really comprehend what they're seeing, and it affects them the way they view, the way a boy will now view a girl, and the way they think that relationships should be is totally distorted and confused because of it.
Yeah, what seemed to be clear as crystal 10 years ago is so clouded nowadays,
It is, and it's because children, this is Ben Robbins' opinion and what I've read from even from public health experts, they're seeing things and reading things that are adult related.
They're not ready for that.
And they're not ready, and they can't comprehend it.
Yeah.
Their brains just aren't developed enough to understand it. And if you're 10 reading about this, or 11, which is now they say the average age when children start to view adult material is 11 years old.
Yeah, I saw a article just a couple of days ago that said that Alabama had the third best road structure in America. And I thought to myself, they ain't traveling on some of them roads I've traveled on.
It really is, kind of hard to understand at times. But, I know if you've driven in other states, some of their road systems are terrible too.
I've driven I-20 in Atlanta, it's horrible.
I know, but they don't count. My understanding is they're not counting county roads. It's just the state, interstate and highways. But I agree that there's a lot of things we need to do to improve our state highway systems. And one of the things I really want to see us do is I think we need to complete the 4-lane of 21. I mean, that's something that has to be done. And I had a meeting with ALDOT. Me and some other legislators have been talking about how we can do this. And ALDOT was very firm on, well, you need 10,000 cars a day to be 4-lane. And Winterboro South only gets 8,500 a day. And I said, oh, so, we still get a lot of traffic every day on a 2-lane road, but you're saying, according to your formula, it's not worth it. And that's what they said. But I think that part of the reason that we have that issue is that cars are diverted other ways because 21 can't handle the actual traffic that it already has.
Is there COVID monies still available?
Well, what's going to happen is we've spent most of the COVID money. The states, cities, everyone has, but there is a clawback. That means where if you haven't spent it, the federal government's going to say,
give it
you
back.
didn't spend it, the time's up, give it back to us, and we're going to use it. So what you're going to see is there's going to be money that will become available again because entities, things haven't spent it, and so all of a sudden there's going to be a mad rush again to get COVID money. That's the way I see what's probably going to happen.
Let's talk about Coosa and Talladega counties, where you're our legislator. What is needed in our two counties?
Well, we already touched on one, broadband. Broadband, we are making strides in changing education, and I think that's going to be vital in making sure that we are teaching skills and trades again. Coosa County reopened